Hello, hello. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Miriam Smith from the Empowering You Nurses show. And here I am. I'm very excited with my audience and, of course, my special guest. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be on my show, Empowering You Nurses, as you know. Here we have with us this afternoon a young man who is pursuing and is a social worker, but he's continuing in advancing his education. His name is Marquise Morrison. Welcome, Marquise. Now, Marquise, on this audience, there are many different individuals who are in the interprofessional team. They made up of nurses, doctors, social workers, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and the list goes on. Now, tell us a little about yourself. Let me say congratulations for pursuing one of those careers that really has so much to do with contributing to our society. Welcome on board and tell us something about yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Thank you for inviting me as well. I really
Great.
appreciate you having me here. Um, I currently go to Hunter College. I'm 20 years old, and I currently intern at a school in the Bronx. As well, I'm sorry.
That's
With
okay.
my
That's okay.
with being in social work, I've always just enjoyed helping people. I really enjoyed helping more children right now. So for my field of work, I'm more in the demographic of middle schoolers and elementary school. A little bit of high school, but it's more mainly middle school and elementary right now.
Great, great. And Marcus, Marquise, I must let you know that I have admired you as a young man, and I've seen you grow up and have been contributing in so many ways in the church setting and the community setting. And of course, you have found your niche where you really admire caring and allowing others to emulate you as a young person. I really appreciate that, and I say congratulations on your graduation. And at this time, any experience that since you have started, I know you're youthful and I know you're going to go far places, but any experience that you have encountered since you have started your career as a young man in social work, any encounters you have had that sort of you never expected or sort of stunning to you, you want to share with us?
I don't mind. Um, yes, actually, for me personally, I've never been to a shelter home. So that overall experience of going there, seeing the people and how they interact with one another, for me was a really big experience
Wow.
because it really is a big demographic when, you look at yourself as a part of a certain class and then like different classes and actually putting yourself in that type of a situation, it makes you more mentalize and realize how affected everyone is and how certain things are really much different for a lot of people and you don't know unless you actually look at it. Because for me, the area I work at is in my community. And when I saw it, I was like, I never knew that a shelter was this close. And, there's so many people that I see passing by on a daily that could be a part of it, but I wouldn't know because, I don't do my own personal research and I don't do my own kind of advocacy to see what's around my community.
Wow. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. So then you see how fortunate you are, right? So if you should give an advice to someone, whether it's a nurse or there might be young men like you out there in the community who truly want your inspiration to, and they would really like to become a social worker or someone in your area of specialty, what advice would you sort of give them? Just thinking about.
First, yeah, I would say first look into the field a little bit because there's many different types of things you can do even within this field
Okay.
because even if you don't want to be like a social worker or a nurse, they have other things like a human service worker, which is a branch of social work,
Yeah.
but is a little bit different as well. So in my opinion, I feel the best thing to do is to look into everything in the field first, so you have a more general idea on what, is like what's available. And then when you're ready to actually get into it, you just pinpoint it down to the areas that are more in what you want, because there's so much. So there's really and honestly a lot for like you to look into, a lot for you to like have to research and know about. And there's so many programs as well. So in my opinion, just as long as you know the base of what you want to do, whether
Yeah,
it's macro, meso, or
micro.
micro, that's all that matters. That's that to me, that's all that matters. As long as you know that, everything else is something that just gets constructed over time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marquis, for sharing that with us. And as we've come to the end of our little discourse this evening, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. You never know if you might want to deal more with like the healthcare area or of your specialty. Though you're dealing with the little ones, is there any area you think as you collaborate your work with the nurse, you think you could elaborate a little on as you in anywhere, whether it's clinically or otherwise?
Yeah. Uh, I feel like with a collaboration with a nurse, you have to just remember that a social worker is the main person that is just trying to get information on the person to help the person. So, in the relationship between nurse and social worker, the main thing a nurse needs to really get is, I'm sorry, the main thing a nurse really needs to do, in my opinion, is give the social worker the kinds of information that they just need the person who they're all working towards to just get better. Like, if a nurse is giving them medication and they go, okay, they have to take this a certain amount of time during the week, a social worker would then make sure that they are. And if they aren't, they would go back to the nurse to let them know so that they can both figure out something that's best to help the person. A social worker's job is mainly just really supposed to help a person. And we can't, go into things like medication or stuff in like a doctor would do. So when it really comes to the relations between a nurse and a social worker, all we really do is accept the information you guys give us and just try our best to make sure that it's something that can help the person. And we of course have to come back to you guys and give information as well so that we can just create something to better help the person. And that's all I believe that we as nurses and social workers can really do. Just coincide so that we can better help the person that we're currently helping.
Thank you so much. I love that, Marquise. I really love that, because whenever we see our patient, we are thinking of patient-centered care, whether they're little ones or they're adults. It's our responsibility to collaborate, to work together to ensure that that patient, whoever that patient is, receive the best care. We all put our pieces together. It's like a puzzle, and you fit in that area, and I fit in that area, and another person fits in that area, and the interprofessional team fits in their area, and therefore that patient will receive the care that he or she needs that will make her or him a well to be able to go back into society and be able to contribute to society. We want that person with all our work put in together to meet optimal health, you know, receive the care that can help that person to go back into their normals, into normalcy. So this afternoon, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out as a young person. I know you could be doing something else, and I just want to thank your parents, you, of course, grown, and your parents who have supported you along the way and your journey. And so as you continue to pursue your education and receive more experiences, you'll be able to come back here and share. And we are happy to that. You have been such a support on this area, where we have nurses coming on, we have occupational therapists coming on, we have seasoned nurses, we have young nurses, we have doctors, of different kinds, specialties coming on here and sharing. And I must let you know, uh, for those who have not yet received their book, Nurse, the guide to empower new nurses in the delivery of high quality care to all patients. And that's written by me, Dr. Miriam Smith. Um, it's on Amazon. It's a bestseller on Amazon, as you'll see here. The signet shown there, signet. So, uh, it has tits and bits, and it has information for not just nurses, doctors, interprofessional team, but it also has for the layperson. If you look on Amazon, you'll actually see ratings from both laypersons and from professional individuals because there's something there when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to self-care, you know, hygiene, mental, spiritual, the physical, the emotional, the psychological, all those pieces put together for the human being. And so you'll see there something is there for somebody. Now, how can you connect with me? You can connect with me through YouTube at Miriam Amanda Smith. On Podcast Mirror, that's an Instagram. Podcast Mirror. And of course, if you go on podcast, you will see Empowering New Nurses. Empowering New Nurses. So at this time, I take pleasure in saying thanks again to my guest, my honored guest, a young man who is a social worker and continue to pursue further in his specialty. And I just want to say thanks to my general audience who have taken time out to be here this afternoon. Thanks again, Marquise, and I appreciate you.
I want to thank you as well, Dr. Smith. I really appreciate you for having me today. This was an honor, and I really enjoyed this conversation we had.
Thank you.